Interesting revelations surrounding the recent police recruitment fraud and on the part of two commercial banks who are said to be holding in excess of 1 million Ghana cedis, either in the accounts of the Prime Aisha Sumda or Commissioner of Police Patrick Tembela. How is it that these banks did not take steps to verify the sources of that money? And how come the police service also did not take steps to freeze? And they are pointing to a possible breach of banking regulation. What the role of the prime suspect is in all of this? This is today's big story with me, Aisha Ibrahim. These accounts, there are also critical questions over exactly now the interdiction of the Commissioner of Police Patrick Tembela in connection with the recent police recruitment fraud has been seen by security experts as a huge progress in the ongoing investigations into the matter. But several other questions remain unanswered. For example, has any forensic investigations confirmed the originality of the signature of Patrick Tembela, Director fake enlistment letters? Also, an amount of 30,000 Ghana cedis is alleged to have been paid into a Stanbic bank account, and there are claims that money was subsequently paid to Commissioner Tembela. Private legal practitioner Samson Ladi Ainini has been raising some of these critical questions. He spoke to my colleague Kemini Amano earlier in the day.
I have a couple of questions.
Of the Human Resource Department on all 200.
And here they are. Number one, I have heard the Minister of the Interior, I've heard even the police authority suggest that there is everything okay with the preferential treatment that the accused, that is COP Patrick Tembela, that are begging for answers. Okay, I say no, it is not.
Why not?
Yes, he's an accused person. By law, Article 19, he's presumed innocent until he's proven guilty. But I say our Constitution says that all of us deserve equal treatment. So I see the police as a group that is receiving, that it is my tax money that is used to pay them and to sustain them. I don't see why the employer, in this sense, loosely speaking, gets badly treated or different treatment, and then the employee gets a special treatment. So I say that is wrong. We need to watch that very, very carefully. Other than that, we'll send very wrong. I employ, because I am a taxpayer, it is accused of petty crimes, misdemeanors, involving a phone costing not up to, say, 200 Ghana cedis. And when they are reported to the police, they are picked up. They may not even be granted police inquiry bail until they appear before signals out there. People commit or are bail.
Now the police says it's restricted his movement. What would you rather the police have done?
That's fine. I'm saying I have worked for police officers who were also interdicted for having, been implicated in one offense or the other. You interdict and then you arrest, or you arrest and then you interdict, and let the person go through court and make an argument for. My fear is that, and my worry is that if we don't do that, the community will see that people are treated differently because of who they are, and that doesn't give a good signal. And in fact, it offends the Constitution if people are seen to be giving preferential treatment. I've heard them suggest that, oh, he's only been accused through the same process. I'm saying, and I ask the question, what else is a serious offense? If this is not serious, What else is serious? So we need to look at that again. If you and I got into trouble, we will be arrested and we'll go through the process. Let everybody go through the same process. Number two, we are being told that this thing was discovered in 20 and that this is not a serious offense in that regard. Aisha Asumda, was arrested and an account was frozen. An account at Spintex Road, which holds money of about 30,000 Ghana cedis, was frozen. I want the police to answer the question. Which account is this they are talking about? Is it the accused Madam Asumda's account, 14, and that the woman at the center, which I have become aware of, that an amount in excess of 1 million Ghana cedis has been put into, and that account bears the name Patrick Timbila. I am not saying it may be this Patrick Timbila, because we know that anything is possible, or it is an account being frozen. Is it the woman's account or the account that bears the name Patrick Timbila, which is supposed to hold in excess of 1 million Ghana cedis? In any case, they should not present the case in a way that misleads the public. The woman was arrested in 2014 over a similar offense, for which offense she's standing trial. So they should tell us which is the account that suggests that while she's being tried, she has received 2 different contracts, quote unquote, because this appears to be a fraudulent thing, so they cannot be contracts, so to speak. But I understand that the woman sees them as a contract that is given to her. So while she's being prosecuted, she has been given 2 in court. The information I have, which contracts she worked on in 2015, and that is what she mobilized an amount of 1 million Ghana cedis, more than 1 million Ghana cedis, and giving to whoever gave her that job. We should get to know what is going on. Third, in Ghana, the law is that if a certain amount of different contracts for the same thing in a bank, and that money does not correspond or approximate to what is your regular inflow into that account, the bank is supposed to alert the financial intelligence unit at the Bank of Ghana, and the financial intelligence unit will immediately put a freeze on that account. Then that person will have to go to court. Amount of money comes into anybody's account, bad money, as in not money laundering, and that it is genuine money for genuine purposes. If it is the case really that over 1 million Ghana cedis has been pushed by this woman into one account, what was that bank doing? That bank did not detect that amount of money, to justify that money is not. Police should tell the public which bank is this that was operating their accounts, and whether or not they alerted the financial intelligence unit. And if they alerted the financial intelligence unit, why did they also not act? These are the questions begging for serious answers that you should be asking the police.
Why is it important that these questions are?
Was suspicious for another scam at the highest official level. That's all I can say for now.
Okay. So that was lawyer Samson Ladia with my colleague Kemini Amano earlier on. Well, let's get on to the telephone lines and do some analysis, because Prosper Addo is a security expert and he's joining us on the phone. Good evening, sir, and many thanks for joining us.
Because if they are not answered, we could be up.
Be surprised if it comes out that a top police officer is involved in this scam. Now that Timbila has been indicted, do you get the sense that the police service can conduct a thorough investigation and conclude on this as soon as possible?
Yes, good evening to your listeners. If I heard you correctly, you were asking if...
In your last interview with Joy News, you told us you won't...
It's at stake. If that's what you asked, I would say yes. Really, the image of the service is at stake.
I'm not talking about the image of the service, Mr. Addo. My question was saying that your last interview with the police, you indicated that you will not be surprised that a top official will be involved in this scam. But now that Timbila has been involved in this whole...
This is the image of the service.
Conduct a thorough investigation and conclude on this as soon as possible or practicable.
Yes, in terms of competence, I believe the police service have the men to do the job. But beyond that is the issue of
saga. Do you think the police service can...
You see, there are issues of credibility, there are issues of transparency and accountability, there are issues of public perception out there. So it's important that while the police service is claiming that it's capable of conducting its own investigation and coming to its logical conclusion, it's also important that they think about other stakeholders. How credible will this investigation be? It's not just about the security of the state. It's also about the security of the people. And at every point, you ought to keep the people involved. It's a partnership. And so I would say that it's not an issue of capability necessarily within the service to conduct an investigation. But to what extent will this investigation be credible, be transparent, and be included in the process? Security currently...
You were speaking about the image of the police earlier on. To what extent has this affected the image or the reputation of the police service? Hello, Mr. Addo.
You know, the high-profile nature of the Commissioner of Police in the service, you know, the trust of the public, tainted the image of the service. It has undermined the image to a very large extent. And why I said this is that, you know, the allegations that are being brought against Commissioner Timbila are very, very serious allegations. If you would remember, when the case came out, the commissioner himself came out and condemned the case, has really outright that whoever was found, particularly within the police service, to be an accomplice will be dealt with, will be punished for, to the letter, so to speak. Not long after, in an interview, I indicated that the focus shouldn't necessarily be on the suspect, but that the service must look within itself, because in such criminal, the act, the scam, and commit, accomplice. And so for it to have happened, that someone who perhaps could be a future IGP being indicted for the same crime that he's so boldly speaking about, really that's a major slur or dent on the image of the service. Indeed, he has not activated. Sometimes you find him being a conclusion, so to say. But the issues coming up are so worrying that it will be important that the case is looked into thoroughly, and that if anybody is found culpable, the law must take its course.
But looking at the performance of PIPs and how they've performed,
They found guilty, so we cannot draw
investigations over an independent body investigation into such a matter.
I think they could go side by side, and that's why I'm saying so. The police certainly is undertaking its own investigation, but you would also know that
over the years, should we prefer a police
to other bodies? For instance, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Defense and Security. It's a body that has oversight functions, over the police service and other security agents. To what extent are they being involved in this investigation process that's ongoing currently? I know it is accountable and answerable. A committee has been set up to look into the issue. And over the weekend, there were some conflicting results coming from those two committees. Now, additionally, because the image and the credibility of the service is at stake, it's not just enough for the Ghana Police Service to claim that it can undertake its own, wholesome task force, some might not be sufficient. If it happens that they've been objective, we need some form of oversight over that process, simply because a house found to be culpable cannot vindicate itself necessarily.
But some commercial banks are alleged to have been used as a conduit.
Investigation and come to a conclusion.
There are claims this money was paid to Timbala or into Timbala's account. Are these enough grounds for the police service to go beyond interdiction and arrest Timbala?
Absolutely. And I tell you why. A name has been mentioned. We do not really know.
To transfer up to about 1 million Ghana cedis. And
sounds very familiar and similar. Now, you would have also noticed that the Minister for Interior came out to say publicly that he had heard of the state sometime in December and had also requested the Commissioner for Police to look into the issue. What were his findings? Did he know about this account? It's simple if that is the commissioner. But the name certainly. We don't need rocket science to prove full science back. If we get the original document, a forensic expert can look into the document, and establish whether that signature belongs to the commissioner or not. And even if the police must do this, some experts could also be around to observe the process. So signature was forged. Now, in an act of forgery that came out, whether it's a 35,000 or it is the 1 million, we have bodies can verify and establish who owns this account. Like was mentioned, there's a Financial Intelligence Center or unit, and there is also the EFCC. There's no big deal about this. This can be looked into and establish the questions that were raised are relevant. The issue is this, that the account in this age of money laundering and terrorism, so to speak. So these are issues that cannot just be left idle, but must also be looked into critically.
Well, many thanks to you, Mr. Prosper Ado. He's a security expert, and I must apologize for the delay in his answering because we're calling him from Monrovia. That explains why it delays. But also, we have on the line David Walker, his chairman.
We didn't know about this account, and why didn't they do anything about this?
And he'll be helping us to explore the bank issue further. When a bank suspects large sums of money being paid into an account, what would usually be the first thing to do to verify the source of that money?
Yeah, if an abnormal deposit is made into an account, which the bank has suspicion of, there are various ways.
Of World Vision Financial Services. Good evening.
You could question the source of the money. If you are not sure, the best thing to do is to report to the Financial Intelligence Center.
So far, how effective has this been with the financial, the IFC?
You ask how effective has it been? You could investigate. You could talk to the client. FIC is a security agency, and these are very private and confidential issues which they deal with. So I don't think one could publicly say they are effective or they are not, depending on the case whichever case it is, I believe they are doing their job, and they are effective, let me put it that way, sure.
And so you're looking at the FIC has been to help control some of these things, and you think the collaboration has been effective?
I think so.
In this instance, we're talking about a bank account, and we're asking the question, was it reported, or did the police know about the account? Or if the bank suspected a lot of money, why didn't the bank report to the FIC? The cooperation between banks and this FIC, that's supposed to be some collaboration or effective collaboration between the banks and the FIC.
Yeah, like I'm saying, fine, this is between the bank in question and the FIC, and these are very private and security issues which must not be publicly discussed. So I feel the bank in question and FIC
and all of that. In this instance, do we think we seem to us that the bank did not collaborate well with the FIC? So looking at your banking ethics, can the bank be, incited for being part of the scam?
I don't know whether you have any evidence to that assertion, whether the bank is collaborating or not, because saying openly that the bank will be doing their work.
But in this instance, it's
like we are all saying, this is security work. You don't know how much collaboration or how much demand FIC requested from the bank and how much they have contributed to the issue. So until enough evidence is proven,
and if enough evidence is proven, can a bank be indicted or to claim to be part of such a scam if enough evidence
is not corroborating? I don't think it's in order. A bit of legal question.
Well, many thanks to you, David Welko, for your time. Well, earlier today, after meeting the Vice President, who is Chairman of the Police Council, the IGP Mohammed Al-Hassan told journalists the police service is capable of conducting a thorough investigation into the matter without the involvement of any external committee of inquiry. Let's listen to him and we'll explore the matter further. Is proven.
Please, that should be
all steps that have been taken by the police administration to investigate this matter and bring all culprits involved to book. It also endorsed administration's readiness to invoke the police disciplinary procedures to, as it were, sanction all police officers that have been found. Council, at the conclusion of the meeting, and last but not the least, the council enjoined me to continue to strengthen all my supervisory role to ensure that the task force comes out with that report which would meet all the required standards for onward submission to the Attorney General's department. We did come out sometime last year with to be involved in this scam in the Ghana Police Service. We have carried out these reforms and restructuring efforts, and with recruitment, we've also put in place now various procedures and structures that would make it virtually impossible for the scams of yesteryears, where people are alleged to be paying monies in order to get recruited. Commitment to embark upon a paradigm shift, emphasize that this mechanism that we put in place in the last recruitment that has thrown out this scam. As you are aware, we set up a special investigations team, and of course we also have to make sure that we constantly update members of the public through your August media outlet. Ghana Police Service stopped, and I wish to emphasize investigative efforts.
What do you make of calls for an independent body to look at this issue, considering that some of your own...
Well, that is their opinion, but as you are aware, we are guaranteeing that we will provide a very professional investigative report that will stand all the tests of integrity.
Let's explore this issue first.
On developments in our...
Expert. Good evening, Irbad. Thanks for joining me.
Good evening. You're most welcome.
Irbad, how can a police service investigate its own self? I suspect, could there be any conflict of interest? Can the police service itself investigate its own self and come out with a thorough answers or a thorough outcome of that investigation? Because Irbad Ibrahim is on the line. He is a security.
That pressure has been brought to bear on the Ghana Police Service for us to have seen this expeditious move that has been taken in the past week or so. Certainly, the Select Committee on the Interior and Defense in Parliament, that belongs to another arm of government, that is the legislature, wants to get to the bottom of this matter. So as things stand right now, first of all, I think there is no denying the fact that we have people more than just Timbila behind this, scandal. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. I think the vibe I'm getting from the utterances of people within the Interior Ministry and the Police Commission, people like Woyongo, who is the Interior Minister, as well as the IGP, means that they will leave no stone unturned. Now, for as long as there isn't any smoking gun evidence, and so that everybody who has got his name soiled by, quite smearing scandal, that speaks to shake the very foundation of the credibility of the police service. And mind you, their credibility is already moribund. Because of the myriad reports of corruption, nepotism, lack of commitment, and malfeasance. So therefore, I believe we're going to fire on all cylinders, literally speaking. So, perusing whatever proposals they will make. And when that's finally settled on their own internal disciplinary and investigative mechanism, if the Ghanaian public is not convinced, I believe so that then we would need external hands in such an investigation. But for the fact that high-ranking people like Timbila have got their cover blown by their own stock, my sister, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, whereas on the part of a section of the police service to make sure due diligence is done, and anybody who is culpable is made to face the music.
So with enough evidence showing that huge sums of money have been paid into Timbila's account, does that give enough grounds for Timbila to be arrested rather than be interdicted?
In security circles, we adopt means that I think there is a cleanliness of mention acts of criminality. What the ordinary person knows is a dead body that is in a pool of blood, or that has been beguiled or broken into. But there is more to crime than meets the eye, and there is coordination among various facets of national security. So therefore, on the face, a multi-pronged approach of the time when you police service, but certainly other bodies like the financial, crimes unit, as well as financial intelligence unit, FIU, as well as the YOKO and the BNI, I believe so well, will be contributing their widow's mite to such a comprehensive investigation. So one key thing you do in acts of malfeasance, especially value, you would think that this investigation is limited to the Ghana, is that you issue a communique to all financial institutions in the country to prove the account of any culprit or person who is deemed the suspect in an ongoing investigation. Also, whatever account bears the name of Timbila should be frozen without any further hesitation, so that if at the end of the day there is enough evidence that he actually, when they are found out, in a circumstance similar to this one, is the music. And
many thanks for your time. Mr. Irbad Ibrahim is a security analyst. That's all time will allow us. We'll be back shortly with the interactive segment.